Hey, what's up guys? It's your pal Ben here from Twig Cycles out of Hagerstown, Maryland. And today we are hopping into none other than the brand new 2024 Polaris Xpedition XP 1000. So let's jump into it. All right, so the first couple minutes of this video, I'm just gonna share my initial thoughts on the Xpedition, and then we'll jump into kind of what makes this different, unique, and some of the specs and stuff like that. But, you know, from face value, you can really see Polaris raising the bar on these machines. This is a much better quality unit, and I'm just overly impressed. You know, things that they thought of, LED headlights, of course, decent brush guard. Now they do have brush guard options that you can get for these to kind of protect, you know, the upper portion of your hood here. But brush guard with the 4,500 pound synthetic Pro HD winch. And then we have Fox shocks on this bad boy. So Fox shocks, these are not an electronic suspension. It's not a dynamic suspension. So you do have to reach up there and use the click adjustment on the Fox shocks. But they went ahead and threw some big beefy 30-inch tires on here. We got some Pro Armors, the Pro Armor Crawler XPs. The other thing too, like I say, setting that bar up a bit for quality. These doors. Now, one of the things that I like, this is a 64-inch wide machine. You'll notice there's nothing sticking out. There's nothing crazy, nothing stupid sticking out from the side. Everything's very narrow, very slimline. 64-inch wide machine, which is already a universal width for some of your side-by-sides. So, but if I open this door, I mean, just listen to this. I mean, it literally, no effort at all. You know, that to me, little things like that, you know, how well do the doors seat up? We have a nice even seam everywhere. And obviously the lashes, there's no catches or anything like that. We're gonna dive into the cab here a little bit. And like I said, we'll get into some of the specs here later on, but you know, just as far as cabin space. Now I'm about 6'1", 6'2". My general manager, Brock, he's a little bit taller than myself, and we both agreed. I mean, there's a ton of space in here. Just if you're a bigger fella, bigger driver, operator, you don't feel claustrophobic whatsoever inside the Xpeditions at all. There's a ton of space. I mean, I'm reaching up here to try and get to the windshield, and you do also have the windshield on these that pops up. So that's pretty cool. As far as just some of your touch points, you can see we have, you know, we got our steering wheel up here, which I believe we have telescoping steering wheel. So we can obviously move that up and down, and it is a telescoping steering wheel, which is pretty cool, kind of like what they used in the Pro XPs. We have our headlights and stuff over there. Some other stuff, you've got your glove box right there. Very simple setup there, nothing crazy. It's not like you're pulling some of those, like your Rangers and some of your Razors, they have that rubber grommet up there. It feels like you're getting ready to yank the thing off the hinges. It's very simple. You also have a glove box over here you can open and close. We got, let me see here, we got USB and 12-volt accessory outlet right there as well. We have our power windows. So if I turn the key on, power windows, let's do the, we'll do the right-hand side. So we've got power windows. And again, right there in the center console, this is getting a little bit more automotive grade. We have windshield wiper. Let me close this. So windshield wipers down here. Pretty sweet. I'm not going to push it right now because this thing's super clean, but we do have the windshield washer fluid. We have our climate control. So we obviously have heat, air conditioning, defrost, AC. We have a couple different levels, how we want the blower to work. We got turf mode, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. These are your power modes. This is, again, not a dynamic suspension. This is not setting the comfort or ride of the suspension. This is actually setting your power mode or how responsive your throttle is. So comfort, standard, and sport. Sport obviously is going to be a more responsive throttle control. Comfort's going to be, hey, we're just taking a leisurely ride. We're sightseeing. We're going to take it kind of easy. And then, of course, we got our winch control over there also. You know, if you look at some of these vents, like I say, very automotive grade. They really are setting the bar up a step with these. We got JBL speakers. You know, the radio sounds fantastic, but they really, they hit the nail on the head with this thing. They got a couple block out plates here, so if you want to throw a bunch of LED light bars and crazy stuff like that, you can do that. There's auxiliary lights that you can put on these. So like if you're putting a tent on the back, you can set up some auxiliary lights to kind of see what you're doing. Very simple setup here with our display. Obviously we have a ride command we'll get into here in a minute, but we obviously have your speedometer, tachometer there, and just kind of the simplistics there in the center. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but and then over here we have ride command, which you guys are already familiar. We've used ride command now for the past couple of years. We have what I call kind of your vehicle diag display. It just kind of gives you everything you need to know about the machine, navigation, Bluetooth setup. We have music, and of course volume up and down. So yeah, I mean, they really hit the nail on the head with this thing. So I'm going to list off a couple of specs, what this thing is capable of doing before I just talk about some of the standard features this thing comes with. Again, this is a 64-inch wide machine. We have an 87.5-inch wheelbase overall. Tow hitch. So this is where this is a little bit different from the General. The General 1000 is only capable of pulling 1,500 pounds. So 1,500 pound towing capacity on the General. You'll also notice I do want to highlight the high arched A-arms, and look at that beefy A-arm setup on these things. Way different. So again, we have a 2,000 pound towing capacity on this. Again, General, 1,500 pounds. That's what a Ranger 570 has. This thing here has 2,000 pound worth of towing capacity. So shoot, if you're hauling some kayaks, you know, or a trailer or something like that, a little miniature camper, you can do that on the back, whatever, 2,000 pound towing capacity. If you're really out there in the sticks, this has a 12.5 gallon fuel tank from the factory. Now, again, one of the beautiful accessories you can get for these, you can get the auxiliary fuel tanks. So if you want to strap some fuel tanks to the back of this thing, you can do that. But from the factory, 12.5 gallon fuel tank. And then in the bed box, we have a 600 pound bed box capacity. So 600 pounds is what you can throw there in the back of the bed. All right, now moving forward, we're going to get into I think a different style of lock and ride features from Polaris, and honestly I got to see this the other day. I think it's going to be a much more secure lock and ride system as far as some of your quick release mounts go. So from like gun racks to tents and lights, maybe not lights, but just some of your lock and ride features that you can put in the back of these things. I think we're going to see a much better quality lock and ride system from Polaris. So engine on this thing, we have a 1000 cc engine. This is a dual overhead cam engine, putting out 114 horsepower. So there again, Polaris General. This is not a Polaris General. Polaris Generals only are putting out 100 horsepower. And I say only, you know, in a day where everything else is putting out 180 horsepower because of turbos and stuff like that. But 114 horsepower out of this 1000 cc dual overhead cam motor. Nice setup back here. You can see we do have a hydraulic assistant or a hydraulic arm to aid in lifting that bed. That's not a push button lift. You can see we again have our click adjustable Fox shocks and our twin cylinder 1000 cc ProStar motor from Polaris. So excellent setup. The other thing too I want to point out, something that they really were thinking ahead on, is your inlets up here. So your CVT breather, air cleaner, everything is up high. It's not down below. Everything is up here. You know, I'm looking at this thing right here in the face, and I'm about 6'1", 6'2", so it's way high up off the ground. So good stuff there. Again, 1000 cc parallel twin dual overhead cam motor, 114 horsepower, capable of towing 2,000 pounds, 64-inch wide unit. And some of the other stuff that I really like, I get jazzed up about this stuff. They put the battery tender lead right there up front, so you don't have to crawl through the machine and plug it in and keep the doors open or anything like that while you have your machine plugged into the battery tender. It's right there in the front of the unit. How smart is that? Now, I took the liberty of actually printing this out, so I'm not just playing a guessing game because my memory is terrible, but I took the liberty of printing out what this machine comes with. So we have our XP standard features. So items that this machine already comes with, and then the ultimate trim package. So we have Ride Command JBL front and rear cameras. Let's verify that. Yep, we do have a front camera there. Didn't notice that at first. Front and rear cameras, 900 watt stator, charging system, tilt and telescoping steering. We saw that. Ride Command Plus, so this does indeed have the new Ride Command Plus setup. 114 horsepower motor I just mentioned. Fox Podium QS3s, high clearance dual A-arms, 14 inches worth of ground clearance. So 14 inches worth of ground clearance on those big Pro Armor 30-inch tires. And to aid in that, again, we have our high clearance A-arms, which is pretty sweet. Let's get back where we were. On-demand, true two-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, Versatrack turf mode. Just about every Polaris comes with that. Polaris HD 4,500-pound synthetic rope winch. We do indeed have that there as well. For those of you that don't know, you can actually use this release over here, so you can free spool the winch. So when your buddies get stuck, you can connect up to them and get them pulled out of the mud pit or what have you. Let's see, Pro Fit Sport Roof Interior Liner. So again, we got the roof up there, of course. Lock and Ride Max Cargo System, dumping rear cargo box. This thing has it all, literally. And I am beyond impressed. So I'm going to jump in the cab here one more time and just kind of show you a little bit of what the inside consists of. So again, we have power windows, got our door release over there, grab handle and everything. Beautiful seats. Let's see if I can zoom out here for you. So beautiful seats. This is actually a step, so you can step up here. If you're tying anything down here on top of the roof or anything like that, you do actually have a step that you can use right there. Nice seats, good, system there to kind of keep you tucked in. Center console right there. Again, we have power windows right here in the center. So pretty cool there. Park, reverse, neutral, low, and high. What I always tell my customers, high is for play, low is for work, or in this case, if you're doing some overland, just kind of trail riding, low would be just for some of those low speed maneuvers. General rule of thumb, anything below 12 or 15 miles an hour. Again, this machine does come with JBL speakers, so beautiful speaker setup in this, and I will fire this engine up so you can see kind of what it's capable of and what it sounds like. So we have some cubby holes down here. Holy crap, that goes back there pretty far. Got some cubby holes right there. Cup holders right there. Working our way up. Oops. Got somebody coming by. Burp. Yep, so we have our climate control right here. We have our fan, speed adjust, AC and heat, and of course we have our settings. So you got it if you want it in your face or face and feet or whatever. Again, turf mode, two-wheel drive, and four-wheel drive. Oh wow, I just heard that lock in. And then these again are referring to your different power modes. This is not a comfort setting for your suspension. This is referring to your power mode. So this is going to map out how responsive the throttle is. So if we put it in sport, it's going to give you the beans. If you step into it, you're hauling butt. Standard mode is just going to be kind of a general trail riding mode, we'll call it. And then comfort is buttery smooth. You can tell a huge difference between these, between sport, standard, and comfort. So if I put this thing in comfort and put it to the floor, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, it doesn't hardly want to go anywhere. Which is good, because you don't always want that. If you're doing some low speed like rock crawling or what have you, you don't always want that throttle to be super duper responsive. But if you have wide open trails, put that sucker in sport and you can give it the beans and haul butt down the trails and all that fun stuff. Additionally, when you do change that mode, it's going to let you know right up here on your main display. It's not going to show that right here, however. That power steering I do want to highlight. Now, obviously, this machine of this spec would have power steering, of course, but I'm pretty much just doing this with one finger. So very, very smooth power steering setup right there. And again, back to our vents, very automotive-like. Yeah, I mean, we got a center light up there, or a roof light. We've got rear view mirror right there. The only thing this really doesn't have is the side mirrors, which I can't say that I would really get them. You know, if you're hitting some pretty tight trails, you might not want anything sticking out. But yeah, and I love the fact that they put the windshield that you can open on these also. So, but I'm going to go ahead and fire this thing up here and just kind of let you see what it sounds like. So I'm inside the cab currently. Nothing crazy. I'm gonna close this up. Still very quiet, I think, for a side-by-side. You know, I think some people forget these things are off-road machines, and you know, they want this to be like a Mercedes, or whatever the commercial is, the BMW that's like super quiet. This isn't a Benz. This is an off-road machine. You're gonna get muddy, you're gonna get dirty. But I tell you what, this is like the Mercedes of Overlanders, that's for sure. I love the badging with this too. North Star. So, oh, and I do want to note, very, very deep bed box, by the way. So it's going to hold everything in there. You don't have to worry about anything falling out. But again, with this lock and ride tech from Polaris, you got some lock and ride accessories you can put back here. And we're going to see a new system from Polaris here for their lock and ride accessories. So it's going to be a little bit more secure in how it locks in and stuff like that. Again, 2,000-pound towing capacity. Pretty sweet. 114 horsepower motor. High clearance A-arms. Look at those A-arms. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. This thing is sweet. This thing is cool. So let's hop in here and drive it around a little bit. What do you think? I really can't get over the cabin space. Just from, you know, the first time I got into this machine, I really couldn't wait to see one of these in person. But I literally cannot get over the space. I mean, just to kind of give you an idea, I mean, that's with the steering wheel all the way out. That's all the way in. I'm very comfortable. I have kind of long, lanky arms, but it's just a very nice setup, you know. The one thing, I'm not knocking the Generals whatsoever, but people are going to compare this to the General anyway, even though I say it's not. You feel a little bit more claustrophobic in those things. It is what it is. But this thing has a ton of space inside. So 2 thumbs up there. So we're going to go ahead and drive around here a little bit. I'm going to put this in high, and I'm just going to put this in standard mode currently. This is a brand new machine, and this is actually sold, so I'm not going to be tearing it up or anything like that. I guess I better put the seatbelt on. All right, let's get it. So we're at 40, well, let's say 5,000 RPM. Now I'm going to come to a stop here, and I am going to go ahead and put it in sport mode just so you can kind of see a little bit of the difference there. Very snappy, very responsive. It definitely wants to go. Okay. Now that time I didn't have the throttle the whole way. So that's just kind of how responsive it is. Now I'm going to put it in comfort mode and just kind of show you the difference here. So now at that point I did have the pedal the whole way to the floor. So that's the difference between sport mode and comfort. Sport mode, I did not put this thing to the floor. If I'd have had it to the floor, we would have been hauling butt back the road here. So I think it's important to really, you know, highlight the different power modes and how nice that is to have it in different scenarios. Additionally, while we're sitting still here, I just want to show you. So I'm basically in a 2-lane. This is a dead end road, by the way, but 2-lane road here. I'm going to turn this the whole way and just kind of show you how sharp that turning radius is. Let me move up here. So full lock to the left. And we're pretty much almost turning on a dime. So pretty impressive there. Pretty impressive turning radius. So I'm going to start to wrap up here. Yeah, 5 stars the whole way around. They did a phenomenal job with this thing. I'm going to shut up here for a minute and just let you guys kind of get your eyes full here. These things are probably going to be hard to come by off the get-go until they really start producing more and more of these, but this way you can at least get an idea of what it looks like and everything. We'll hop in the passenger side because I didn't do that yet, but again, we have a step stool right there. We can use that. Oh, we do also have plugs, so if you do get water in here, you can unplug that. I'll show you the glove box here. Toolkits, USB, all that stuff's in there. Pretty sweet. And again, we do have some storage inside that center console also. 12.5 gallon tank. Super nice machine. Very well executed. All right, guys, so I'm going to start wrapping up here a little bit. Obviously, I'm around these things every day. I've been around side by sides my whole life. I've been here at Twig Cycles. I've had the opportunity to pretty much have everything else that we sell and things that we don't sell out on the trails before. So you can't fault me for getting excited about this thing. They really hit the nail on the head, and I know I keep saying that, and I know I might sound repetitive, but I can't express how excited I am about this machine. For a machine that is intended to give you the Overlander experience, something that you can pack up, pitch a tent, throw the kayaks on the back, do whatever, you know, spend a whole weekend out in the middle of the woods. This is what I would buy, 100%. That 1000's putting out 114 horsepower, and I think it's plenty. It's zippy, it's fast. I love that it's got different power modes. I love that it comes factory with the winch. It's got the power windows. We have heat, air conditioning, and let's not forget the batch of accessories that Polaris has for these things. It's just a great machine. It's a new market. It's a new machine, a new unit to offer, and we already have 2 of them sold. So, you know, maybe that'll speak for itself. So 2 thumbs up, 5 stars, you name it. I'm impressed. Ben's impressed. Everybody at Twig Cycles has been impressed. This is our second one that we've seen. We had the opportunity to actually touch and feel one of the ADVs, so that had the full cab that went around the back of the machine and everything. And that was really sweet too. So, but yeah, they executed this very well, and very impressed. So again, I'm going to wrap up here. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave those in the comment section below. Please help me out, like and subscribe. I love doing these videos for you guys. Thanks for watching. Your pal Ben's out.